We wanted to find a way to honor our language as VIU tries to honor all of the language groups on Vancouver Island, the Kwak'wala, the Coast Salish, and the Nuchanoth. We also have our Métis brothers and sisters as well. So we wanted to find a way to incorporate our language and our ways and our perspectives and our language into what we do here at VIU. So we wrote a proposal to our Aboriginal Service Plan, which is administered through our Office of Aboriginal Education and Engagement, to see if they would potentially fund a Kwak'wala Language group here in Nanaimo. So we were successful with our submission, and we're now calling it the Kwak'wala Language Group in Nanaimo. We wanted to see, first of all, how many Kwak'wala members there are in the Nanaimo area, and we found out that there are over 90, probably over 100 members, some that we probably don't even know about, that have joined our Facebook group page. Sorry, tripped over my tongue there for a sec. So we created a Facebook group page, and we have over 95 members. We have a class every 2 weeks. So we try and bring together people of all ages. So there's no age limit. There's no limitation to being able to come, even if you're married into a Kwak'wala family. We welcome all of those members to come and to learn the Kwak'wala language in the very basic and simplistic way. We try and aim to, because we have speakers of all ages, we have beginners, some who have never been exposed to the language, to all the way to speakers who grew up with Kwak'wala as their first language. So because we have such a diverse learning group and category, we try and create exposure to the language through sounds. So the very first and foremost thing that we have to do in our language is actually learn our alphabet. So the alphabet provides exposures to the sounds, to how you work your tongue, to introducing all of the components of our language. So this is the very basic, and we work a lot around our Kwak'wala alphabet to provide exposure to those groups of people. So it proves that VIU not only honors Indigenous people, but it proves that they honor the land and the language in which these people come from. So by VIU acknowledging that language revitalization is a priority, we as a people are now able to bring our people together in an urban setting, because not everybody lives in community where the language is concentrated. So because we live in an urban setting, in a university setting even, it allows the university to support not only the people but the language in which we speak. So it's a great opportunity to not only provide to our students but to the community around us as well. So it's an excellent teaching model, I believe. The way we're measuring success is to build comfort around the language. So because we have varying degrees of learners, it's to provide comfort for those beginners and expose them to the basics of the language, but also to provide a connection for a speaker who was their first language to be able to connect with those beginners. So it's kind of we're providing exposure to the beginners, but also providing the speakers with practice and a reminder from what they learned when they were little. So we have to come at it from two different ways. And so we're evaluating it through surveys, and how comfortable they feel having been exposed to the games and the simple lessons that we're providing. Indigenous Education is a platform in which we can talk about and learn about and create awareness around Indigenous peoples, not only locally, but across the island, provincially and nationally. So it's a platform in which we can learn about the ways of Indigenous peoples, how they see the world, how they their traditions, their practices, their ceremonies, so I believe it's a way for us to provide awareness not only of the ways of the people, but the history. So Indigenous education right now is coming into a new light in with reconciliation, in that we're now telling the accurate and the true form, and that it's a shared history. It's not just up to Indigenous people to provide that education. It's up to each one of us to participate and to actively participate. My vision is not only to provide that Indigenous perspective that I just told you about in terms of the history and the ways of Indigenous peoples, but to provide education and awareness of who we are, and how we can incorporate that into education. So education has been a tool that has oppressed Indigenous people. So now I would like to find out a way to use it as a tool to empower and to inspire and to find ways in which all peoples can succeed in education, because I think that it's become too much of a challenge and there are too many barriers to success. So my vision would be to remove those barriers in the best way that we can, to create partnerships with other areas, with other cultures, with other people, to work together to go towards this vision, so that we can, yeah, all succeed in education. It's a tool that can open up so many doors. So I believe that if we all work together to remove those barriers, more people will see themselves as a part of education rather than being intimidated and overwhelmed and completely staying away from it. Knowledge keepers. We need elders and community members that have particular, we all have gifts. We all have gifts to share. I think that if we work together as a community, each one of our gifts will hopefully complement each other, and then we'll find a way to move forward together in unity. And what materials? I think like a team, right? It's really about team. Together, everyone achieves more. And if we do that, then we have the human resources. So working with community agencies that have built up this history and expertise over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So really working with community and hoping that we can achieve this goal of Indigenous education for all.